Tonight at 9, staying weather aware. Stormy weather is set to make its way towards the greater Baton Rouge area tomorrow. We'll have a breakdown on when we can expect those showers. And why an Ascension Parish deputy was fired following a violent altercation with an inmate. That was all caught on camera.
And the right to an attorney. How low state funding for public defenders is causing some cases to be put on hold. We'll share those details as well.
Live, you're watching Fox 44 News first at 9, your local news leader.
Good evening, I'm Lauren McCoy.
And welcome in, everyone. I'm Chad Sabity. Thank you for joining us for Fox 44 News first at 9 o'clock. And we begin tonight with a look at the forecast as more storms and some heavy showers will pass through the capital city tomorrow.
Meteorologist Danielle Giuliano joins us now with a timeline of when we can expect to see those storms. Danielle.
Yeah, that's right, Chad and Lauren. Again, this evening here, not much to see. A little cloud cover here and there. Maybe some of us saw an isolated shower make its way through, but we're still on the calm side for our Friday night. That's going to change as we head into our Saturday. Live look at the Doppler radar. You see some showers and storms just off to our west-northwest. Some of those may make their way north of the I-10-12 corridor, but most of us will remain dry tonight. The southeast as a whole, though, seeing a lot of those showers and storms make their way through. What I want to point out here is those showers and storms developing just off in Texas. This is ahead of that frontal system that's going to continue to push and make its way east. So this is a wide view of really what I want to show you right now. So this is at midnight. So again, pretty calm here in southeast Louisiana. Most of the activity staying off to our west, but then it pushes through. It develops into the squall line as it makes its way through. Now, how long, or I should say how fast the system moves through depends on that front. If the front stalls, it's going to move a little slower. It's going to have that ability to really amp up there and tap into that energy. So with that, again, those storms are going to push their way through, and we do remain under a slight risk for severe weather. Now, I'm going to go into more detail on the exact timing of these storms in just a few minutes. Chad, Lauren?
All right, Danielle, thank you. Continuing coverage tonight, caught in the act. An Ascension Parish Sheriff's deputy has been fired after investigators say he was caught on camera punching an inmate.
Fox 44's Tecia Muzinga joins us now to explain what led to this fight. Tecia.
Chad, Lauren, good evening. This is the man who is accused of attacking the inmate. Tonight, 50-year-old Livingston Alfred is now facing charges. And I want to warn you, the video you're about to see may be disturbing.
That's crazy.
Calvin Wells is at a loss for words after watching the raw video that was sent to his phone. He can hardly watch it.
That's not how you treat people. That's lack of basic respect for another human being.
This is the video the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office released today. You can see a jail deputy punching an inmate over and over again. You can also see other employees walk into the altercation, but it doesn't seem they're trying to break up the fight. The inmate suffered minor injuries and was taken to the hospital.
I'm sure it happens all the time, especially given the conditions of prisons. They're more like pens for animals as opposed to rehabilitation centers.
Police also identified this man as the attacker, 50-year-old Livingston Alfred. He served in the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office for more than 9 years. He held the rank of staff sergeant and was a corrections officer.
He's trained a certain way to behave a certain way for these situations for years and years and years. And so that's what he should fall and rely on instead of beating up a guy in handcuffs.
Tonight, this inmate is left with scars, bruises, and a brutal memory of his time behind bars.
Should be fired?
Yes, he should be fired and prosecuted for assault.
Alfred is fired and is now facing simple battery charges. And I reached out to Sheriff Bobby Weber for comments, and he refused to speak. For Fox 44 News, I'm Tecia Muzinga.
Tecia, thank you. 2 other employees resigned after expressing their disagreement on jail protocols. Well, staying in Ascension Parish, the new District 3 Sheriff's Office officially opened its doors today. The ribbon-cutting ceremony was followed by a tour of the new office. It is located in Prairieville on Highway 42. Well, a scam alert for you tonight. If you get a phone call from Sierra Leone, a country in West Africa, authorities with a Louisiana Sheriff's Office say to not answer that call or call back. It's called the One Ring Scam, and the goal is to have you call that international number back, resulting in high phone charges. That's according to a Facebook post by the Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. Authorities recommend blocking those numbers.
Also new at 9 o'clock, U.S. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana is adding his fundraising talents to a political organization aimed at electing more conservative Republicans to the Louisiana legislature. Senator Kennedy, along with Attorney General Jeff Landry of Louisiana, are leading the Louisiana Committee for a Conservative Majority, having unified the state's top two GOP standard bearers in its work to shift the legislature. With Kennedy joining Landry's involvement in a PAC, two of Louisiana's GOPs have the opportunity to make a significant mark on the House and Senate on those terms that begin in 2020. The leaders of three St. Landry Parish churches say they feel grateful for a visit from Vice President Mike Pence. Pence made his way to Opelousas earlier today to see for himself the site of the burned-down Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. It's one of three historically black churches that caught fire over a month ago due to cases of arson. While there, the vice president expressed his support for what the church congregations went through. Churchgoers even showed their resiliency to the vice president.
We're thankful that they're reaching out. We're thankful that they took the opportunity to let the world know that it's more than just one person. It takes all of us to make the world go round.
And a lot of different people coming together to raise money. A GoFundMe account to assist in the rebuilding process has already raised more than $2.1 million to be divided among all three churches.
Now to developing news tonight. If you're accused of a crime and you can't afford an attorney, the state provides one for you. It's called a public defender, and it's a constitutional right. But dwindling funds are causing a problem. Fox 44's Jonah Gilmore has details on the domino effect that's causing some cases to be put on hold.
Funding for cases involving the indigent has dwindled, leaving state attorneys to request halting trials.
It's happening all over the state. The problem is we contract with nonprofit firms to handle our capital representation in the state, primarily because it's too expensive for the districts to handle. They go broke.
The state's public defender, Jay Dixon, says the Public Defense Board is operating with 30% less funding, but they're still handling the same volume of cases they've had over the last 4 or 5 years.
So the funding that we have available for capital has dropped by 33%. Math dictates that if the funding drops, so is the representation. You just can't afford as many lawyers, you can't afford as much representation, and the result has been waiting lists throughout the state.
Dixon says nowadays it's tough to handle indigent cases due to the funding issue. It's causing a domino effect, making it hard for outside attorneys to take on the duties. Even if the state gets the funding, he says holding on to it is key.
We need not only more funding, but more stable funding. The idea is it's not just the amount of money, it's how stable it is. And so as long as you rely, as long as it's basically a user fee, a user pay system, we are depending on the backs of the poorest in the state. And that is a business model that is doomed.
Jonah Gilmore, Fox 44 News.
Because some contracted lawyers are pulling away, the state is appointing those cases to state attorneys. Well, some of our viewers will be heading to the polls this weekend for a number of elections in 25 different parishes throughout the state. Many parishes, including East Baton Rouge, will have referendums and propositions to decide on. Other parishes will have city council and school board races. No statewide races are scheduled. You can find out more about this election by visiting our website, brproud.com. There will also be a link, and you can find a link to the Secretary of State's website to find your polling location and the very helpful sample ballot for your area. Polls open tomorrow at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m.
In national news, President Trump's ex-lawyer, Michael Cohen, has one weekend left as a free man. He's scheduled to check into the Federal Correctional Institution in Otisville, New York, first thing Monday. According to the Associated Press, even though it's considered a white-collar prison, it's no Club Med for this former fixer. Cohen will be sleeping in a barrack-style hall with bunk beds and no privacy. He'll have an assigned job to carry out Monday through Friday. He'll also have access to washers and dryers, microwaves, and ice machines. But get this, Cohen will share the facility with The Situation. That's the former Jersey Shore reality star convicted of tax fraud, as well as financier Bernie Madoff, convicted of stealing billions from investors. Michael Cohen has a 3-year stint to serve. Over 100 farm groups are begging the president and Congress to put aside political differences for the sake of America's farmers. The groups sent a letter asking Congress for $5.5 billion to help farmers in the country. Fox 44's Anna Wernicke has the latest from Washington.
For most of America's farmers, it should be planting season, with high hopes for a bountiful harvest. But instead,
there's this total devastation of crop losses.
R.J. Carney with the American Farm Bureau Federation says the Southeast is still recovering from last year's hurricanes, while severe storms and record spring floods slammed the Farm Belt, causing huge losses for farmers.
And we're talking more than $8 billion, and that number is still being calculated specifically in the Midwest.
135 farm organizations and banks sent this letter begging the president and Congress to put aside political differences and pass a disaster relief bill. The bill has been stalled in Congress since January. Kansas Republican Congressman Roger Marshall says Democrats insist on including millions of dollars for victims of Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, over the president's objections.
Most of us are anxious to try to help the farmers, to help out anybody that had disaster strike them. But unfortunately, Nancy Pelosi has made this into a political game.
We have to have a bill that the president's willing to sign.
Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott says farmers can't afford to wait any longer.
We can't just go week after week after week and nothing gets done.
The House should vote on the disaster aid package next week. In Washington, I'm Anna Wernicke.
Anna, thank you. Still to come on Fox 44, searching for employment. Why one area job fair is making that search for jobs a bit less stressful.
And following another deadly crash on Airline Highway that left one woman dead, we bring you some safety tips from DOTD. That's later this hour.